Sections of fence.
What's two friends here playing fence? Why can't you spend one on Ellie? Because I don't want you around.
It's the roof up here.
Fun, huh?
You just can't get in there, I'm telling you, okay? You can't get in there.
Oh, you want me to?
Yeah.
Fur Trade Wedding in the theater.
We're here at the fort, and today we are going to be overlooking a marriage of one of my employees. Today, my blacksmith, Troy, is going to be getting married. Now, since there are no churches or priests here in Fort Langley to officiate the wedding, I will be doing it myself as part of my job as chief trader here at the fort. And with me today is the mother of the bride, Alila.
Yes, my daughter Kate, or Lisa as we like to call her, is getting married today. She is a well-known basket weaver. We come from the Kwantla village just across the river. This wedding is going to be done according to our traditional Stalo customs. However, the more sacred parts of the ceremony will not take place here. Our family has met with Mr. Yale, and we decided that this marriage will be a good connection between our two communities, our cultures, and our families. Right, guys?
And so we've arranged for this marriage to take place inside of the fort. Now, Troy is very far from his family today, so I will be standing in for his parents. And as always, I encourage the employees here to marry into high-ranking Stalo families to help encourage trade with the native peoples.
Yes, this marriage will help build lasting and meaningful relations with us, the Stalo, which will bring good trade and security to your fort.
And likewise, this union will help us to learn the native language, making it even easier to trade with people here at Fort Langley.
Ah, yes, and Jean-Pierre, or also known as Troy, will become part of our family. He will learn the ways of our people.
And Lisa will join our community here at the fort, just like so many Stalo women before her. Now, let's get on with the wedding. Here we have the lovely bride and groom. Now, this ceremony today will not be legally binding. What happens inside of the fort stays inside of the fort. Teasing later. Now, one tradition we are going to be presenting to you today is the dowry, or the exchange of gifts. Now, see here. We are gathered here today to join this man and this woman in marriage. Now, Jean-Pierre, or as you are also known, Troy. It is very important that the company form a lasting bond with Lisa's family.
Yes. And Kate, or Lisa, this marriage will bring good trade between our family and our fort. Our family is well known throughout the valley. This man will have to prove he is worthy of having you as his wife. She's pretty cute, right? I have a family member from Patsy who has a gift to give.
I come from Patsy. We have the largest bogs of cranberries in the valley.
Thank you so much, Cranberry Farm. In return, the company would like to present the bride's family with this large bolt of cloth.
Ah, look at these colors and the fine weave. It must have taken a very long time to make it. I have another family member from Esla with an important gift to give. That's you.
You will find the strip net in our family fishing rock at Eslaw. You can use it at any time now that you're a family.
Thank you so much. Okay. The river and the salmon, are very important to people here at the Hudson's Bay because that's what we eat during the long winters. Now, in return, I would like to offer this fine axe head forged by our very own blacksmith Troy. Very good job, Troy. And this English file.
Yeah, she does good work. Takes us many winters to make stone and bone tools. This axe head will save us a lot of time. Very nice. Our family from Salea has a gift to give.
My family lives 10 days journey by canoe up the river. Here is our finest quality of moose hide.
Thank you so much. Now, the HPC prized moose hide very highly because it can be used to make moccasins, which were much more comfortable than the hard and uncomfortable boots that they had brought with them from England. Now, in return, the HPC would like to offer 100 yards of rope to the bride's family. This is not all of it. There will be more in the storehouse.
There will be more.
Yes, more.
We can use this rope to make new fish nets. It takes us a long time to make our cedar bark rope. My family from Chiam has a gift to give.
The hair for these blankets comes from the mountains, goats high in the mountains. It takes my family many weeks to gather.
Thank you so much. Very nice. In return, HBC would like to offer 2 of our very fine quality woolen blankets.
Good. We have the best weavers in the valley, and a blanket takes a long time to make. A lot of work went to tanning that large moose hide, right? I must ask my family, do you think this is enough for my daughter, Keats, also known as Lisa? No.
We're not water now, John. Okay, my apologies. The HBC would like to offer another blanket to
I
the
see. Nice fabric for the field. My family from Catsy owns huge bogs of cranberries downriver. When you join our family, you will have access to all these bogs. That dip net can be used every year when the river is filled with salmon, and it gives you the right to fish in our family's area and share in our wells. Do you think this is really enough? No.
I forgot. We've brought one more HBC blanket for the bride family.
Matching set. Very nice. What do you guys think? My family is now happy? Yeah, happy with the connection that we've made here today. And we look forward to becoming family with your fort.
Fantastic. Now, Jean-Pierre, the company has very strict rules about their employees getting married. I'm going to read them to you now. I'm going to need you to affirm them after I say them. Is that all right? Okay. 1. No employee is allowed to take a woman as his wife without promising to look after her and any children that they may have. Not only now, in this country, but in the event that you ever leave and return to Europe. Do you agree?
Yes.
Good. There's a second that you were thinking about it. That works. But we'll continue. 2. You must have this marriage made official if and when a priest ever comes to visit us here at Fort Langley. Do you agree?
Yes.
Fantastic. 3. You must speak to your wife and any children you might have in either English or French so that they may learn our language. Do you agree?
Yes.
Fantastic. And finally, you must teach your children their ABCs and any other elementary schooling that you may know. Do you agree? Fantastic.
We Vistalo have a custom to join these 2 in marriage. This blanket, if you'll help me, Mr. Yale, I will represent that you will come together as one. Our families will share in the wealth of this marriage. Jean-Pierre, you are now a member of our family. We expect you to walk with pride and does not give us shame to our family.
I now declare the happy couple husband and wife. Let's give them a big round of applause.
I was just sweating. Oh, yeah. Yeah, stop. Give me this. Or you could use it, but just understand.
No guns, tools, yeah, for what?
Farming. For jobs?
Before farming, they didn't have farm here. I'm talking about the reason European came here. Hudson Company came for one main reason, to get beaver fur. That's how Canada started. Canada was built up on the fur trade. One hat made out of beaver fur is about $25,000 today's value. Yeah. So European Hudson Company came here, they want to get Aboriginal people interested in the trade. They want to attract them. So one of the main items they brought, I'm sure you heard about blankets and a rope. Three main items, blankets, Hudson Bay blankets, rope, and iron. Aboriginal people fell in love with iron. As everyone knows, like we, before we had Canadian dollars, we had beaver. Beaver used to be our currency. Anything you trade it for the value of a beaver. All other animal fur, no matter how soft they are, they would be considered like spare change compared to the beaver. Like 2 otters equal 1 beaver, 10 muskrats equal 1 beaver, 4 wolverines equal 1 beaver, always compare it to the beaver. So that was the reason. I'm going to show you a little bit here. Like I said, a pre-burnt coal. So I have coke here. I have my my bellow. And I'm just going to put a little piece of iron here. They did use blacksmith for farming, but that was the second step. 3 main occasions that kept the Hudson Bay Company doing really well for iron. First, trading with Aboriginal people. The Stola people, they live right on the other side of the river. 80% of their diet would be salmon. They were fishermen, they were not farmers. They have no idea about farming. It's European that introduced the idea of farming. European, which is a Hudson Bay Company, opened farm 2 times the size of Stanley Park. Anybody knows the size of Stanley Park? Yeah.
Yeah, it's big, right? It's 1,000 acre. Stanley Park is 1,000. Hard to believe, right? So the farm used to be, they had here 2,000 acre. So that's when they needed tools for farming. And this, the third occasion would be gold rush, when all gold miners had to come here to get their tools. There is no Costco, no Safeway, no superstore, only the bay here that existed. So everyone, over 30,000 people came to look for gold right in the Fraser River. Imagine all of them had to come here. Imagine how busy it would be here. Did you guys go up there on the gallery? You should go up there. We have the Fraser River. On the other side, we have the Stola First Nation. They're still there now. They live there, right? On the Fraser River, you hardly see anybody there. At the Gold Rush, over 300 canoes and boats would come along the Fraser River every day. Yeah, I saw some pictures. Just like packed with canoes. Packed with canoes, you know. They want to trade, people trade in. And so it was really busy here. You want to really heat your iron. The more you heat it, the easier, you know, for you to work with. It's very, you need lots of hammering, but when it's red, you don't have to hammer as much. It gets so soft. See that? Pretty soft. One more time here.
gonna put it here. And I'm gonna twist it. See that? Very soft, you know. I don't have to work hard. It's just. Can you see from there? Yeah. I'll get you to gas that for me. You want to come around a little closer? Do you see how it's breaking apart? That was all part of my piece. But it's, you see? Yeah. I'm making a little hug. See that? Now, do you see how no, it's not ready? The reason why, because that would be easy to melt them. So what I'm doing here, I'm brushing my hook with the brush here. And what I'm doing is melting pieces from my brush. And they stick to my hook, and I'm not painting it, but actually metal melting into metal. And becoming permanent color. See that?
Вон, видишь, какая она золотистая становится.
You see the color here?
Yeah.
It shows better in gold than silver, right? That's why I did this. Yeah. This is what I did here. I used the gold brush. I melted
А вон там, видишь, меха какие сверху, вот эти вот воздух качают, видишь, такие мешки большие.
Yeah, I've got gunpowder in here. Yep. And this is where I carry my bullets.
Okay.
Yep. And then here is my patch.
A real patch?
Yep. Oh, so I patch the bullet all the time, right?
Okay.
And then start it with this. Whoops.
So, thanks.
So I take the bullet and I smack it down. And then shove it down like that.
The bullet is just fit?
It just fits, yeah. And then I take this and go all the way down with the bullet, right? And back up. Then I gotta put a cap. Have a little cap goes on there. And then when I fire it,
Cap means some powder?
yeah, it's got it's a little cap with a little charge in it.
Wow, a lot of procedures. So a little bit
Yeah.
powder?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, tiny bit of powder inside there, sealed in there, and that goes on there. Yeah. If I'm lucky, I can get 2 shots in about 1 minute and 10 seconds. Long time. It's not quick.
A lot of procedures.
Not quick. Yeah. So.
And then once you trigger.
Yeah, and then you pull the trigger, and then this smacks down, and a little bit of it sets off that little cap. And a little flame goes through and into the barrel and sets off the charge inside, and then it goes out. Yeah. So, and we'll be doing it up there about 2 o'clock.
Okay.
We'll be right in this area doing
Thank
it.
you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. Can I have your name?
Rick.
Rick, thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, just some of the beams are the original. So like a lot of this has been reconstructed, like some of the wood on the side here is not actually the original. Oh, I don't know the exact prices. One beaver is called a beaver point, so that would be the method of trade though. So if you're trading blankets, you would say how many beaver points is it worth, and then you would trade and barter for that amount of beaver points there. Yeah. Yeah. That one is actually a fisher. Yeah. So a fisher apparently is part of the marine family, and they're very, very vicious. So they tried to repopulate them in southern Ontario, and it didn't work so well because they often got children. Yes, and it worked very well. Yes, but they're pretty popular. No, that's actually coyote. Is it really? Yeah, it's very soft. The fur is soft. It's a coyote. It's very soft. Yeah, this is a coyote. Yeah, it's very soft actually. If you want to somehow get over here, you can.
It'll be my turn too.
Yeah. Yeah, the wolf is a lot coarser, so a lot of people.
You got wolf here too?
Yes, this like the coyote, a lot of people assume that that one's wolf, but the wolf actually has a lot longer fur and it's very coarse. This is the wolf here. You wouldn't want to pet it left side, that's for sure.
What's this one? Is this
Which one? Oh, that's actually a silver fox.
Oh, it's an otter.
Yes, river otter.
Okay. Eel?
Pardon?
What is that?
That one's called a marten.
Marten.
Yes, the marten. And then we have one mink here, but he's
Mink,
kind of
that's the one I'm
haggard.
thinking.
Yes,
Okay.
a little bit haggard. He's seen better days. And then this is a fisher.
Is that a fox?
No, if you look at his tail, it's actually a raccoon.
Look at that. Oh, it's
It
a
looks like a
raccoon.
fox,
It
yes.
does.
We do have two types of foxes here, though. We have a silver fox, and we also have a red fox here.
Nice.
Yes, they're beautiful, and they're very soft.
So the silver fox.
this one here? Really soft.
That's actually a lynx. Yes. Yeah, it looks like a cat, doesn't it? Yeah.
So were they just shot skin for the fur?
Yeah.
Or were they edible as well?
I couldn't generalize which groups or which people ate them, but they were used for that as well. But mainly, like here, we use them for the fur in this specific spot.
And where would you transport it to?
You transport it to England. Yeah, they wouldn't usually use the furs here. What they'd use if they needed more warmth is the blankets over there. But they would ship all the furs to England. They'd go around South America. Yeah.
And they would make what out of it? Furs?
Usually hats. Yeah, usually hats is the big one for beaver. These ones are also used, bless our furs, these were not as valuable. They were also used for hats, but they were used for other things too, depending on the fashion trend at the time. Yeah.
Interesting.
And the bottom one here is beaver.
You could throw beaver.
Sorry, not beaver, bear.
I was going to
Very
say,
bottom
bear underneath.
Yes, underneath. Yeah. We have this one. This is the only one we have. I don't know if it's made out of beaver, that one specifically. You'll have to ask one of the other interpreters. I don't know if it's authentic or not. But that would be the type of hat that they would make. Yes. Yeah.
The bay?
Those ones,
Oh, all these fought. Oh,
I'm not sure if they're all of them that are. Most of them seem to be the British ones. Like that one's British, that one's British, that one is British, and that one, and that one, and that one, and that one too. So some of them would be American fur traders, but all these posts.
so belong to the bay.
Yes, mainly to the bay, yes, exactly, yeah.
Thank you.
And Fort Vancouver is actually way down there to begin with until they established it up there.
So this one is earlier than our Vancouver?
Yes, way earlier than your Vancouver, yeah.
100 years earlier?
Pardon me?
How many years? 100 years?
Oh, I couldn't tell you the answer. You have to go to Fort Vancouver and find out there. Do you have any questions at all? You're looking?
Interesting.
Yeah, it's very interesting. Actually, a guy named John McLaughlin, he was the chief factor right here. So what would happen is that all the East Americans over here, they had a lot of squabbles with a lot of the Native American people in that area. So they needed land, so they would move east, and they moved all the way down here along the Oregon Trail. Have you heard of that before?
Yeah.
The Oregon Trail, that's what that is. So they'd move all the way east here, and they'd settle in this area. And this guy here, when they got there, they were really, really hungry. So he fed them, and he felt sympathetic to them. And so the fort area over here ended up being a lot of American settlers. So this was originally British, but in 1846 it moved up here in the 49th parallel because there was a lot of skirmishes that were going on here between the Americans and the British. So in order to establish a boundary, they stretched out the 49th parallel that was across the prairies all the way over there. And that's why, so this John McLaughlin guy, because he was sympathetic, so that's why the 49th parallel ended up coming
So
up.
he was American or
He
Canadian?
was actually British. He was British. But he was very sympathetic for those poor American travelers. So that's why there was a whole bunch of settlers in this area and why the 49th parallel went up there, and this was no longer a British area.
Thank you. Excuse me, can I have your name?
Megan.
Megan, thank you.
Yes, you're welcome. No worries at all.
One small question. Why the people here not decide to join the America?
Oh my gosh. Okay, that's a tough question. There's a lot of reasons. America in that time period it didn't have the financial support to actually buy that area. But in here, there's a lot of debate because a lot of people did want to annex with America. There was a petition that went on there, but that didn't fly very well. They had a petition, I think they got like 46 signatures or something like that, and that was the only amount of signatures they had. But all of the governors and everything here, these guys in Fort Victoria, they were really loyal to British. They were old British stock. So they wanted to stick with Canada or with that area and British. And then there was also the gold miners that came in 1858, and they left a huge deficit because Douglas built the Caribou Wagon Road. There's all sorts of infrastructures there that were built to support this mining industry. And when the miners were done, they either all left and went back to their East Coast area, or they went back down here. Some of them settled, but there was a huge deficit. So BC had no money, and they didn't know what to do, so they decided to join the Confederation after in 1871 because, MacDonald gave them Article 13, which meant that he would take all of their debt for them and then also build the CPR all the way to here to Escalot. So that's why they joined, is because they needed some cash, so they had to ask Dad, pretty much.
So in fact, they were the Americans.
Some of them were Americans. A lot of them were fur traders as well that settled. So the Americans settled here. Some of them settled there in Fort Kamloops afterwards. Douglas actually wanted a lot of more people from the lower end of America because he thought all these guys were not going to be that great as settlers and farmers. So he chose the lower guys. That's who he tried to attract. I got hired as a student. So I have a bachelor's in English and theater. So I got hired to...
Oh yeah. Oh, not much. Living the dream.
Welcome everyone. Welcome to Fort Langley on this beautiful Victoria Day weekend. We welcome you, and in celebration of the Queen Victoria, who changed the history of this land by declaring us a colony called British Columbia. We were declared a colony after the Big House in 1858. So we're very happily celebrating her today. We're going to have a volley of guns here in a moment to celebrate her special birthday. But first, I'm going to pass this over to Glenn. Glenn, you might have already met, working in the cooperage this morning, over here behind me. And he's going to give you a very brief, very simple introduction to how the guns work, what they were for here at the fort, and then we're going to ask everybody to head out this direction on the pathway, and you're going to be watching from there for the guns to be from up here. If you're already up in the gallery, you can either be over there or down here, but not where you are. Okay, so everybody, take it over, Glenn.
Very quickly, there were two types of muskets used. This is a military musket. It was used more in the War of 1812. You can tell it's a military musket. The stock does not go all the way to the top. That's where you would fix a bayonet. This is a flintlock musket. Here is the flint. It would hit the frizzen, create a spark, ignite the powder in the pan. A little touch hole would send the flash through here, hit the gunpowder in the barrel, an explosion, and out would come your projectile. Virtually anything put in here will be fired out of it. Several terms came out of these. You could buy your gun as a whole piece. You would buy lock, stock, and barrel, or you could buy the lock, you could buy the stock, or you could buy the barrel. These guns were notorious for misfiring, and so you had to be fairly quick at reloading. Standard British regular in the War of 1812 would do about 3 shots per minute. An experienced British regular could do 5. The gun that was used at the fort is Dusty's over here. That's a trade musket or a trade rifle. That's the one that was used here at the fort. They were used only for hunting and for signaling. The fort was never under attack. Hudson Bay Company policy was don't shoot your customers. So they did not have any attacks at the fort here. They were used to protect against wild animals, to go hunting for wild animals, and also when the SS Beaver was coming up the river, it would signal with a cannon. Fort Langley also had a small cannon, but the men would volley from above. The ship did not proceed until it heard the return volley from Fort Langley, knowing that it was safe to come up the river. Now, we are going to head over. We are going to shoot from the top bastion here.
That you already heard about down here, so they're going to sound a little bit different. Once I give the clear, I'm going to yell 3, 2, 1, fire. At which point, if you hear me say all's clear, I want you to cup your ears, don't plug them tight, cup them so that you don't damage your eardrums. And 3, 2, 1, fire! And it's at full cock. And 3, 2, 1, fire! Range is clear. And cover your ears. 3, 2, 1, fire!
Mom, I think we can do it one more time.
Let's say 3, 2, 1.
We're loading the gun.
Cover your ears. And 3, 2, 1.
Come on, you're the brightest people on the planet. I said so earlier. How do you do it? Male. All right. Do you see any roads out there? No, there are no roads. There are no telephones. There are no telegraphs. Carrier pigeons are 22 years away. Not bad. I caught you on that one. All right. How do you get a letter from here to Queen Victoria in a hurry?
A pigeon?
22 years down the road. Okay. All right. Yes, sir. With close. Canoe. All right. Now, you know what a canoe is? You know what the voyageurs, you know, the great big strong voyageurs, they get in the canoe and they go, Alouette, jonty, Alouette, jonty, bloomin' day, right? And that's the speed that they row. They row 20 times a minute. Alouette, jonty, Alouette. Now, how many of you have heard of an express canoe? They existed. They brought the mail, and in 5 years, they would visit every Hudson's Bay post in North America. Now, they don't row like the voyageurs, where they go, Alouette, jonty, Alouette. They do it 4 times faster. 100 strokes a minute. Alouette, jonty, Alouette, jonty, bloomin'. All right, you ready now? Okay, so I'm gonna so if you want a letter to go to Queen Victoria in a hurry, you send it overland to Hudson's Bay via the rivers, and you need to make it a competition, because you can pay a voyageur to do something, but the voyageurs, you know, they go, well, you're already paying us. But if you hold a competition and it's a year's pay, would you get excited? Yeah. Yeah. All right. So here we go. I take one canoe full of Voyageur Expresses and I go, here's a letter for Queen Victoria. And I take another canoe full of Voyageur Expressers and I go, here's the same letter for Queen Victoria. The first one to Hudson's Bay gets a year's pay. The second one doesn't. Are you going to row hard? Yeah! Yeah! All right, so how long do you think it took them to get 3,974 kilometers to Hudson's Bay? Rowing a canoe. How long? Anyone? Yes? 4 weeks. 7 and 7 is 14, 21, 28. Nope. Too long. Yes? 24 hours would require an airplane. I don't have any airplane.
Podemos pasar por un parque cerca. Podemos pasar por ahí el
Put the bread in there and hold it close to
It's toasted.
How are you?
Good, thanks. Very interesting today.
You'll have to come back. Do you live in Vancouver?
I live in Vancouver.
You'll have to come back for Brigade Days. On the August long weekend, we celebrate when the fur brigades would arrive down here. So on the August long weekend, we have reenactors camped in the fort. There's about over 90 of them. They all have era clothing, era camping gear, era cooking gear, and they can tell you all the stories and all the history of the fur trade. So it's really something to see if you've never seen it.
Can I have your name?
Jim.
Jim. You have special stories?
Well, this is just part of my family history. My ancestors walked this ground.
Thanks.
Yep.
Thank you.
James Douglas's wife, Amelia, she would be my blood cousin.
Wow.
Yeah. We're mixed blood.
Wow. Mixed blood, you mean
These are the Métis colors. These are the color of earth. These bind me to the earth. I am mixed blood. I am Irish. I am Cree.
Yeah.